Hello, friends. Welcome back. Hopefully, you enjoyed that first best of one, the SSG Academy versus Outlast Black, where SSG Academy would take that series 7-5. Now we go into our second of five best of ones. It's going to be Thrive versus Ariel Arrive. Chief Cast and Whiskey Glitter returns for that. And Whiskey, what are we expecting from this?
Honestly, this should be an absolute banger, right? These are two teams that are at the top of that T2 level that's known to have that aggression, known to take the swing or be swung mentality. I think this is going to be an absolute slobber knocker.
Well, let's see what that is. Let's meet our teams. Let's meet the 10 players who will be participating in this best of one, and let's see if we have any familiar faces, because as you're listening to, we should know.
Yep, that's right. And there's the first one. Thrive. Couple of names that you know and love. Aimkey, Twist, Skunky, Candle, and Moses. This core team has been playing together for a very long time. Lots of tournaments, lots of appearances. And so obviously the consistency between this group is going to be absolutely phenomenal. 75% on the attack. Huge numbers there.
So glad you highlighted that, because I was about to touch on that. That's a crazy win rate. I mean, the meta is shifting towards the attack a little bit, but you'd expect, I don't know, like a 53, 54% win rate, nothing above 60, a 75% win rate. That is dominant. And then when you incorporate that strong defensive win rate, I mean, they're a roster that you're certainly going to have to be on the lookout for, but the same thing can be said for ARIAL, our second.
That's right. A couple of new faces on here, right? As we did see the departure of Poison, Epic, Kuro, Snake, Inrio, and Brio. So a couple of core that has been performing together. A couple of standout names, Kuro being absolutely goated at his gun game. No stats underneath, unfortunately, to tell you, but I can tell you what, it's very similar to what we just saw on the other side of the board. These two teams are really going to have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, the eyeball test says that this is going to be a strong matchup, and you can kind of see where it's been distributed. Thrive has played 2 series so far. Dominance for them, all 6 points, 2 wins. On the side of ARIAL Arise, though, they have also played 2, but they have stumbled a little bit, a loss for them in one of those.
That's right. So it's the difference between 3 points there, but no difference between the style of game that we'll be seeing. So the big question then becomes, between these two teams, what is going to be the standout conditions here, and what map are we going to? Clubhouse and Consulate, first of all, Bank and Night Haven, the next 2. So no new maps to be had here on this best of one. Skyscraper and Lair taken out next. So the very newest addition to the comp pool, not going to be seen this evening as ARIAL Rise takes that ban. The last
Cafe.
I knew it was, I was just about to say it. Cafe, the decider.
Well, I was really happy. I was like, oh, Clubhouse, the first band. Excited. We get to see something different, something fresh. And in the back of my mind, the devil on my shoulder is like, Cafe is still in play. That's the other high pick map. And it seems like it's going to be Cafe. To be fair, though, I still love me Cafe. I will always love this map. It's kind of a soft spot from like the OG days. It's just a map, because you have that verticality, unlike any other map in the pool. It requires teams to essentially play the entire map, both in attack and defense. And I think why a lot of teams dislike this map is it requires so much time investment for the attacking team just to get to the threshold of the bomb site, that teams tend to like use that, or players use that OG term, that 20-second meta, where they have so little time, they just have to be able to do something swing and take gunfights, which was the motif of our first series.
Well, here's what I love about Cafe is it's got some of those Night Haven qualities where you can have that 2-floor vertical hold being had, right? It lends itself to some of that investment in the roam game, so expect to see people like Vigil, somebody like Solus being utilized here, that Boss G just being absolutely prevalent in some of today's comp, or in some of this season's comp play. But it's kind of, skyscraper-esque in that it's hard to get inside of the map sometimes, right? Lots of repel action going on. And between 2 very well-established good teams, this is going to be a fun one.
Where do you think we're going to see teams prioritize, especially in their defending rotation? Is it going to be they're going to invest in those middle 2 bomb sites, reading and feeding, or mining and dining? Or is it going to be just downstairs, hold a kitchen, because we've seen a lot of teams gravitate away towards that bar site because a lot of teams just really perfected the attack, and also you don't have the advantage of holding the
Yeah, well, I think it's probably going to see some of those second floor sites being utilized quite a bit, right? You see it everywhere. Chalet, other sites. There's a lot of that in between where you have to hold above and below. Night Haven, of course, being another example of that. I think we're going to see a lot of that second floor play going on. Bans, however, going kind of the way we expected, right? I don't think Monty's seen a single bit of action in any of the comp games that I've casted recently. The fun pick, though, Deimos going to be off the board because of all that soft breach, not going to be utilized to hunt down some of that roam game.
such an interesting and spicy ban. I mean, Amos is quite powerful, but you're going to allow other roam clear operators in play. So you're going to have Line, you're going to have Dokkaebi, and you're also going to have Jackal. So the three horsemen of the apocalypse are still available to you. And honestly, Dokkaebi and Jackal in combination can be terrifying as a defender. So you removed one evil, but you still have three more to deal with. Fenrir, a very powerful defender, even recently being nerfed, is still being banned, and for good reason, because you want to have your line of sight for as long as possible. You never want to get nearsighted. And same thing with another compadre who has also been banned. Well, the Kiba barriers, not going to be in play, even after you can now shoot them instead of having to rely on explosives.
That's seemed to be more often than not that when you're trying to shoot that Kiva barrier, it is netted the kill to the defender because you're stuck, you're shooting, you're an easy target, and then of course you're out of ammo by the time the swing comes. So not going to deal with the Architect. That does, however, leave Valkyrie on the board, and I think she's probably one of the strongest operators, right, for Cafe. The intel, for one, is absolutely huge. Siege is a game of intel and opportunity, and Valkyrie is one of the main facilitators of that gameplay. Plus, with all the soft breach and the C4 available, huge play. I do want to highlight, however, that we are going to see the Castle come out on the very first round. Castle's one of my favorite operators, Chief. I think he's such a great pace dictator, and really is able to funnel some of those attackers into those kill positions that you want and cut off some of those critical push point areas. I love when the Castle's utilized, especially on Cafe.
And another thing I like about Castle is it really requires the attacking team to expend precious bits of utility to deal with the castle. Because a high-level team is never going to walk up to a castle barricade and melee it. It's just too big of a liability. You're going to get impact grenaded, you're going to get nitrocelled, and also telegraphs your position a little bit too much. It forces the attacking team to expend utility, whether or not it is a dash launcher, a Gon 6, a grenade, even a Flores drone. It really just requires a little bit more time clearing sections of the map and extending that utility. Also, something that we are right with, we're going to be starting on the middle floor. It's going to be reading and feeding, which requires a defending team of Thrive to hold upstairs as much as possible, as well as putting a strong bunker onto that entire middle floor, creating plenty of lines of sight so when Ariel rise, go for their take, they're going to watch them.
Yeah, and it is of course, a huge third floor presence. We do have Warden. Oh, we did have Warden up there, but Key's going to get his flame snuffed. His candle is found to have the headshot taken onto him. That's going to put the body balance in favor of Ariel Rise. He needs to take this third floor presence here. Still have to deal with the dock and the castle. It's going to be twist to find that first kill in the answer back as Kiro gets taken down. Now puts us into a 4-4. Still got a whole minute and a half left on the board behind this dock start to apply pressure on that vertical game.
Good control upstairs, but you're going to have to fight for a little bit more. Thrive drops one player down and away. The one that was still upstairs has been confirmed. A detonation of explosive. Nitro Cell not good for that, and that's a smart run out from Twist. You found a Nero, but you're going to be air jabbed in your rotation back home. But there's nobody from Ariel Rise to deny that, so while that player is testing outside, they're going to return home safely. And Thrive is so good on this trade game. Every single one that they have confirmed basically through the vertical, all the holes that Ariel Rise has opened up, reverse engineered against them.
That's right, vertical works in both ways, right above and below. So now the man advantage does shift to the defense, and with 44 seconds left, we're starting to see some of that, what you were talking about before, the 20-second meta coming into play here. It's the drop down to Hatch, looking towards the long angle on the fireplace. It's going to be dealt with as Moses able to beat Brios off the board. Moses on the double to find that first win for Thrive. They're going to take it on the defense. A fun first round.
That was such a strong defense. Thrive held upstairs flawlessly, and they fell back in the proper time, right? They wasted 60 seconds. They fell back to the next stage. And they continued to do that. In Aerial Rise, they just wasted a lot of time taking their vertical. They wasted a lot of time dealing with those rovers upstairs. And they also let themselves be vulnerable to very aggressive runouts. I mean, that was exactly what Thrive needed to do. They're going to let them go down to mining and dining instead it's going to be all the way into the basement, or I guess the first floor, however you want to classify it, into the kitchen. And this is a bomb site. You can just basically Command C, Command V, and replicate exactly what you did in the previous round. And I guess I also just exposed that I'm a Mac user.
Yes, you did. But that's okay. We like you anyways. Just joking. I'm a Mac user myself. So, on first, here we go. Going to bring along a little bit of that area denial, something we talked about in the first match. Glow being absolutely huge for slowing down this attacking team, which you know is going to show some aggression. The 4 Banshees being brought out for some of those critical push points, but it's going to be the dedicated hold onto white here. I think that is the real fun highlight area, right? You've got Warden in place, can't smoke him out, can't get those flashes onto him, and really just denies that pressure from above and below on the back side of it. Of course, Legion to follow that up. On the opposite side about it, one of the operators that we don't see utilized a ton here, who does have the diffuser in hand, is going to be the Osa, right? And bring along that Talon shield set up for the push inside the freezer area, and also set up on the bomb chassis for a little bit of that fight and that post-event action. Double investment, Chief, into the vertical game here is both the Ram and the Bucket.
Well, let's see what these stocks can provide, what dividends they will have, and so far, right, we're just going to confirm where these defenders are, droning the top floor, nobody home there, and in fact, I don't think anybody's home on that middle floor either, so easy access for Aerial Rise, now full control. Here comes the power of this offensive setup. You can use this ramp, slice and dice the floor in any way you please. And if you want even more floorboard removal, you can now have that buck do the same as well. And look at this, they have so many free lines of sight into this box. I mean, what do you do if you're Thrive, where you're going to have to play this very far-back transactional style of defense, or you can be sneaky and
my favorite part is being sneaky and not spotted out. He's got somebody close to start to facilitate some of that sneaky action that you were just talking about. Lucy holding on to the long angle, waiting for the rotate, saw it at the trigger and not pull the trigger. Sleepless now by the drone, forcing her back down the stairs, but still there to play just in case that push comes down. Still leaving that option available for the potential flank cover. Let's air jab that wasn't in place. Vertical action taking some damage onto Legion, but not enough to be able to take him out. And there's the Osa to push into the freezer like we were talking about earlier. That's going to be Snake to take the candle off the board. The answer back onto the board and puts us into a 4-4. 5 seconds left on the board. It's the long angle from downtown. It's some fire onto the Legion, which forces him out of that position, able to net himself a kill, but Malusi to answer back, put this back into a 3-3. Chief, it's 44 seconds left, and they're pushing into that freezer area. Another low health scenario as Malusi is a ton of damage that has been put onto her. There's the answer back yet again. Kiro finding Skunky and then immediately dealt with his Inky, is able to rip his body apart with a couple of body shots now into a 2-2. A low health scenario for the Goyo, but as 23 seconds, it starts to play out in the defense's favor. Amy take Brios off the board. Last one in sight. It's the Dokkaebi. It's the devastation of the DMR, but it's only 14 seconds in which to do so, and no diffuser to be had. Aimkey gonna take the headshot, finish that one off.
Aerial Rise did so much homework, so much prep in round 2. They took control of the top floor. They took control of the middle floor. They called in contractors and renovated everything. But when it came down to the most difficult portion of the round, actually executing into the bomb site, Thrive was just better. To be fair, both teams were perfect on their trades, more or less, but Thrive was just a sliver of a bit better, and that was just because of their positioning. Did you see what Thrive did? They basically left the bomb site because of that vertical pressure, and then they returned to those strong positions because they was an Aerial Rise and left those vertical holes and were basically just pushing almost a 5-man roster on that first floor. So they went from this very vertical take, though, very horizontal take, and they never were really able to leverage the vertical when it came down to the execution. Thrive was able to manipulate that, I guess, that misstep. So Thrive solid in those first 2 rounds. Now they're going to go upstairs to Bar, a bomb site that can favor the offense a little bit more because the attacking team does not need to do what they did in the previous 2 rounds, which is take the entire map before they go.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a
So, to see what is widely considered the primary, going to be the Tersh in this situation. You can see the castle back on the board. Kind of set up a lot like we would see for that second floor hole, right? Cut off those important vertical windows. And then, of course, have to bring along a lot of gadgetry to do it. I think bringing out the mute to stop some of that intel, which is, of course, been something that ARIAL was doing, utilizing very well. Is the play here. Doc going to be brought out. As those trades were coming out, bunch of small shots. They take bits and pieces off of each other at full stem to bring them back up into fighting shape. Everybody up on that 3rd floor. No roam game invested downstairs.
This might just be a drop and send it. You have the utility to be flooring there. I mean, you have Candelas, you have smoke grenades, but the ADS is basically doing the Lord's work right now. The Lord Tachanka's work, I should say. And they're not going to go for the execute. ADSs have been burned. The problem is you wasted so much time that ADS reset. One Candela goes, no drop yet. 3 finds 1. All right. So, ARIAL Rise, good for 1. Are they good for any more? They seem like they don't want to prioritize Hatch. They're going to go for a little bit more of a standard execute for Rat. It was getting dicey there, but ARIAL Rise realized that they don't have a horse in the race, at least for now.
So, a lot of balance sits in favor of ARIAL Rise as they're on the potential verge of being able to secure their first round. It's a triple kill out of Brios, who's now set himself on pace for the ace. A couple of shots from Piano, not able to find anything as the Grim B's starting to go out, and there's the plant getting itself down. Now it's all up to Castle, who finds his life forfeit as Brios finds himself on a quad kill to win that round for his team.
Lock in the Ash, ACOG, R4C, 3 kills. That's the best way to hitting champ as well as winning rounds in Rainbow Six Siege. Patent and shipped. That was well done to ARIAL Rise. It was looking interesting there with that hatch drop, and you could see everybody from Thrive was prepared for that. And I think that was the power of the round from ARIAL Rise, because that was not the gambit they were running with. Their real execute was taking control of top red and using Asha and Brios to be that linchpin to facilitate that control, while Thrive was so focused on a rush that was never transpiring. That's one of those rounds where you patch your IGL on the back and you pack your primary entry on the back as well, because that was a well-orchestrated bait and switch attack from ARIAL Rise. Finally able to stop completing there, able to win that first sharing round. But now we're going to be going back downstairs to reading and feeding. They're going to have to do something different. ARIAL Rise looked solid in the initial executes in round 1, but kind of stumbled in the latter portions of that round, so they have to make an adjustment. I think what that looks like is preventing the fallback sooner with size Roman that bombs.
So yeah, utilizing mostly that same setup to facilitate that top floor hold, which I think is, of course, the right play here. It's a kind of going to see something similar to what we saw when they took 3F in general. So the addition of the Brava, who's going to be out there, get that intel, steal away those Valve cams, which of course can prove so vital on this map. Also, somebody, Chief, that we don't get to see very often, Sledge going to be on the board, right? We haven't seen him since his nades got the impact, but of course he's one of those great operators to help take down those castle barricades. Don't have to expend a lot of gadgets like we were talking about at the beginning of the round. He's banging with his hammer.
Is this a rush? Look at Ash's position. Look at Snake's Armetta with the Sledge. I think this is going to be a potential rush, because you could use the Boogie Drone to make an audio cue that most people aren't going to expect. Here's the rush, full into sight. You have a gadget beeping, so the defense should know the bomb site's compromised. 90% downrange, not good for them. Your MP9's good. And where has ARIAL Rise gone? 3 players in the kill feed. The rush has been dealt with flawlessly, and Thrive now in full control as well.
Absolutely. It was a great attempt, but just thwarted immediately. They read completely into it. Now Castle does go down, but the C4 is there to help get the trade, so it puts us into a 3v1. Low health Ying reduces that 35 HP. The last alive in the attempt to take this 3rd floor presence. trying to push through some of that vertical, but man, really just has an uphill battle with the last minute and 25 here.
I mean, what do? You have only one drone to your name, and when you're just walking blind upstairs, bullets impact you through the wall, and maybe this is an opportunity to say, YOLO, let's try to find the diffuser and hit site, and maybe take some one on site. Like, Thrive as well, they knew it was happening, but they end up losing that gunfight, so step in the right direction, targets to find, but unable to find those last two, and Thrive hold the fort well and survive the rush.
Okay, so yeah, dealt with the rush, read into it perfectly, and able to come around with another round. Puts us into number 5 with 3 of them going to Thrive.
I mean, Aerial Rise, they try to spice things up. They try to do something different, but it just didn't go their direction. And sometimes rushes are just a coin toss, and Thrive was able to crash back down to their bomb site and just hold, and it's facilitated by all of the holes they made in those walls. All that shot where defense set up was able to create these long lines of sight, so when Aerial Rise was fatal funneling through that snow door, they were just shut down at every twist and turn. And then when you have those two players upstairs in a 2vx, I mean, it's just almost an unwinnable position. So Aerial Rise, they mix things up, doesn't go their direction. Now we're going around another bomb site that Aerial Rise has lost on the attack. They did such a wonderful job of establishing vertical. They never were able to really leverage the vertical when it came down to execute. So
10 seconds left.
They're able to correct this round. Is that something that they're able to use and try to force and hit Thrive returning back to the bomb site? We'll have to see what they set up. I don't think Aerial Rise are going to do that at all. They're line up completely.
And I challenge that if the Bravo drone goes in first on that round, takes the prox alarm, that might have had a different outcome. Because Valkyrie was not making that swing until the proximity alarm went off. Could have had the surprise needed to win that round. But alas, they do not. It's 3 to the defense. We'll see if Aerial Rise is able to find a second here as they try to adapt to that first floor play. Do have the intel, of course, that somebody's sitting in that bakery area. Got a chance to rotate back. Actually, pressure proved to be too much. There's that Bravo drone.
I like this defense. It's going to be a strong hold into the VIP section, so you're not in the bakery, and it's just going to give you this opportunity to hit the attackers taking map control. Aerial Rise, they realize this is a very horizontal hold, so they're going to also elect to go for a horizontal attack. They have lots of utility to be able to isolate the players into bakery. You have the Candelas, you have the smoke grenades, but all the utility that Aerial Rise expend, they've been able to find a player so far. Never, in fact, they've recalled the game altogether. So it seems like this offense that they're trying to create has not really been able to put anything forward, so they're completely relocating now, prioritizing the big four.
Yeah, but that's one of the beauties about Aerial Rise, right? They're a great team. So when that comes in, the redirect, they are able to push around, find 2 kills, and now the body balance sits very firmly in their favor. Now they do lose 2 on the entry as Inky is going to deny the double into bakery, a third to try and push that direction, but the damage has been done. The numbers have been equalized, and with a minute 14 left, Inky still in that critical push point with some backup to be had out of the coat check area as well.
All the gun barrels of Thrive are prioritizing bakery right now, so this is another opportunity to Aerial Rise to maybe big brain this execute and come from a completely different avenue. And it seems like it's the case as the Brava has situated themselves over by VIP, but there is a member of Thrive that's going to be your warden that is monitoring this position. They're almost the counter flank watch, denying any entry if it comes in from the other side, and they're about to make the call. Hey friends, I think we changed the name Aerial Rise. I think they're pushing from VIP, and they've now.
Yep, and that's tough too, because this is the obvious spot the ward is going to be playing in, right? He's going to be holding on to that white area, and there he is to find that kill, but he gets traded out off the back of a double. Snake finally able to stop that bleeding, puts us into a 2v1. All going to rest on the shoulders of Ace. Takes a couple of refires towards Whiskey, back into the freezer area where
10 seconds remaining.
Kind of a tough spot with 10 seconds left with oil set up for him not to be able to plant. Now he does take Malusi off the board, pushes into sight a little bit more, puts us into an old-fashioned 1v1. Now they got to push up to get it. Will it be in time? Of course it will. Aim key with the pistol popping, body dropping, takes Brios off the board.
That was a round that was way closer than it should be. I mean, a 1v1 in the last few seconds of that round. I mean, Aerial Rise was almost able to inch it over the finish line, but Thrive was just better in every single scenario. They held Bakery brilliantly, and even the 2 opening kills that Aerial Rise had off the gunfights near Bakery, they just weren't able to translate that because of the 2 fast trade backs. That's what you would expect out of a roster like Thrive. Even when they have their backs against the wall, they're
Attackers need
able
to
to kind of
locate
dig
and
back
defuse
into their
as many
pocket and
bombs as they
rely
can.
on that strong gunplay to carry them out. In round number 3, we saw Barbar be selected for Thrive, and they were shut down by Aerial Rise. A really strong attack from them, a big brain attack from Aerial Rise in round 3. Now to round 6, Thrive says, nope, bar upstairs, not quite our play. We're
Attackers
going
have
to
discovered the
mining it.
location of a bomb.
I like the switch up, right? Confident in all 4 of the maps or of the sites here on the map, opting to go to fire and mining instead, and a complete switch up of operators to be used. One of the newest operators, Sentry, going to be utilized here with the barbed wire and the shield play here. So a lot of gadgets being able to be utilized. On the other side of the board, we're still seeing the aggression, right? Amaru and Ging to be utilized here with the backup of the LMG of Finka. They're going to try to take this 3F or this 3rd floor location fairly quickly and start to apply some of that vertical pressure again with the buff.
All right, what's the over-under that we see the Amaru fly in through the dining room hatch?
I'm giving you 3 to 1 on that.
Here. It might actually happen. So what I'm thinking is we're going to Candela through the window, we're going to smoke things off, and then we're going to fly in through the hatch. They're here. What? Oh no. I'm scared. Hold me.
I love it. I'm with it. I want it. Send it. Right? All the things in place, and you don't have very many people around to take on that gunfight. A huge dedication to the 3rd floor, which means that 1st floor untouched. Nobody around to stop whatever shenanigans they're thinking they're going to push up through hatch. So get themselves onto the window, get in that vertical ready to be set up. Hero primed, prepped, and ready. Gonna have to see Snake get up that white stairs to hold on because there is somebody there. And there's the run out. That was unfortunate for Brios, as Amy's able to find that, and there's Amaru who heads up, immediately dealt with, even with the Candela, there's Warden ready to go. Now, Warden does lose his life in the process. The trade's ringing out, Skunky and Snake both able to find a kill, but just like that, all of the sudden, it is down to a 3v1. Aerial Rise's push yet again denied. Put onto the shoulders of Buck, hoping to find someone in the location.
Well, Nero was going to say, all right, our rush didn't work out, friends. Let's just do the old-fashioned way. Let's use our Buck skeleton key to remove the floorboards. Candle's going to be punished through that. Still, Nero, 2 more targets to find, and lots of bulletproof cameras in this top 4, providing tons of information. Pocket turbine charge is going to be huge. Again, it's all going to be outside. They know where this push is coming from, and they're just going to be able to use and monitor exactly where Buck's going to be. Then you also have to remember there's Lucy Wubwubs recently upgraded to 4, so those are all going to be throughout the map. So you're going to be able to monitor Buck just about everywhere they push. And the next step in Buck's attack, well, it's either going to be finding these kills or retrieving the diffuser, which is currently outside. And I think the way that Nero is going to be pushing this, they say, you know what, we're just going to go for kills. Lucy Wubwub now detonated, so you know exactly where they are. They're in the bomb site, but you don't have the diffuser to be able to put that down. So here comes the train. Really strong crossfire at 90-degree crossfire. One thrown in the train, tucked near the fireplace. And sure, Buck and Nero, they have this hard position to hold. They have that strong wall, but they're going to leave it. They're going to go hunt things. They can't find anything or reload at the wrong time. It's an easy kill for Quist.
Yeah, it looked like he started to have the makings of being able to take that gunfight, but they are just steady in holding on to their angles, not throwing bodies unnecessarily, right? You know the trade is there should they push in, so just hurry up and wait for it. That's going to be Thrive to find another round, putting us on to 5-1 for the half. A little bit tough start here for Aerial Rise, but we do go to the defense, right? This is a defense, for the most part, a defensive-sided map, with the exception of course, that 3rd floor where we saw Aerial Rise find their own.
Going to be a fresh start for Aerial Rise. All the problems that they've had, the 5 rounds that they lost on their offensive stint, you can forget about it. They're now going over the defense. It's going to be reading and eating. We're going to start off with It's an interesting defending lineup. Your best friend is back. Castle is now in play once again, as well as those mirror windows. But I'm really interested to see what Oryx Snakes our meta can do, because one of the fun things about Cafe being so vertical and there's so many patches,
10 seconds
Snake
left
has
before
been a
insertion.
flank at any moment. The attacking team is not prepared for one of those patches.
I love it. Full extension to the third floor, not unexpected. But the Oryx, yeah, I think you're right. That's the highlight play. Will it be enough? Because we know Thrive is going to bring some aggression, right? That's without question. They're gonna hit fast. They're gonna operate off of that intel very quickly. So what do? You bring the fastest man in the game to help deal with that. Now, Flora's gonna get inside and start getting rid of some of that extension util. Of course, mainly being those castles, or maybe trying to divert this mirror out of that critical push point area, allowing it to be that third floor presence. They're starting to put some pressure on right now. They'll be able to hold up to it.
So, Aerial Rise, full expansion of their defense, and Thrive now they're starting to deal with these defending utility. Flora's drone removing the barbed wire. Recently upgraded barbed wire that now does 5 HP if you walk into it, so that's going to be critical for Thrive to deal, and also provides that critical audio for the defense to know exactly where this push is coming from. Look at what Aerial Rise has. So much investment being made to hold piano and prevent access to Thrive. And remember, this is a downstairs site on that middle floor, so Thrive, once they have control of the piano, that's all fine and dandy. You just have to then take control of bar, then go to the site. And the way that Thrive is starting to re-maneuver their offense, it seems like they don't really care about piano. That time, flashbangs, that's a critical misplay, and that's 2 free kills for Aerial Rise just based on the attacking team being flashed by their own utility.
Yep, and only had one person down in sight, right? So a full investment to the road game here. And yeah, netted themselves 2 kills, absolutely huge. Now all you have to do is sit back and wait for the last minute and 15. Gonna bait a little bit for some kills near that piano area, but nobody really willing to take that engagement because of course, why would you, right? You've got the body balance now, all you gotta do is sit back. Brios to find Skunky off the board, putting it all on the shoulders of Moses and Candle as they attempt to find some of this third floor real estate.
ADS has now been addressed, but you still got these 2 mirror windows, and that's probably more terrifying than anything those ADSs could bring. I love the discipline right now. Just go swing, play time. You have 40 seconds left in this round. Honestly, Valor is truly just playing the clock. That is the 6th man in the lobby, truly, or the 11th man, however you want to look at it. Sure, you found one. All right, still got 30 seconds, and remember, the bomb site is not even on this floor. The Thrive's going to have to drop and just start to win gunfight.
That's right, but they're going to be stuck behind that castle. But look at that. Candle to find another. So now we find ourselves 10 seconds left. They've got the Q that they're going to be pushing in here. So right up on the door, ready for the swing, looking for that verticality. Puts us into a 1v3, all on the shoulders of Moses, who does find one. 1 second left. Just not going to be enough, even though he's going to keep killing. Brought it down to a 1v1. But just not enough time to get the job done. You talked about it in the beginning, Chief. You said it was going to be a lot of that 20-second meta because it's just tough to take that real estate in here, and that's exactly what we're watching.
And I really hate the term 20-second meta. I feel it's almost overused because 20-second meta was the utility consumption simulator, as I like to call it. That's where you have the ADSs, the my pancakes, the deployable shields, the mirror windows. But in round 7, that was a hallmark utility consumption simulator setup. You have the plethora of investment upstairs, you have the 2 mirror windows, you have the ADSs, and then you just waste time through that utility, and that forces Thrive to either expend all of your utility and time just to break that wall, or you go a completely different direction. So Thrive, they bash their foreheads against it, unable to address any of that defending utility. And I think you can see why Aerial Rise electing to... Oh, I thought they were going to go upstairs. They're going to go back downstairs. So you could still replicate exactly what you did because the bomb sites are sister sites. You share one portion of the same bomb site, and that's going to be the dining room. So can Aerial Rise replicate it? Certainly if they bring out the same defending lineup. But look at that, Whiskey Glitter. It's a completely different defending.
Yeah, it's an interesting call here. I think they don't want to get too much into the, well, we showed them one look, give it again, and now they're able to adapt to it. I like the call of not going to the third floor, right? It is the attacker-sided one, which would thrive on that coveted match point scenario, so opting not to see it instead. Still dedicated to slowing it down. I would have liked to see some of those same operators, even though it was almost kind of dealt with in the last round.
So, aggression on the side. I like the Warden play. I like that Frost is going to be mixing things up, and the return of those Banshees. Really powerful positions from Aerial Rise and Thrive. Look at that 7th pick. Are we going to see another Amaru flying through a window? Will it be successful this time? I'm excited to see that, but Amaru also has kind of a different flavor on Cafe because it takes so long to get to this roof. Sometimes you just Amaru fly up to the roof instead of what takes like 30 seconds, it takes 10 seconds. It allows you to put the drone up there, take back control a little bit more quick. Oh my lord!
Lord! Hello?
I'm glad the LOL was put in a chat because that's what was going through my brain. All right, Snake. Mistakes were made. We'll just move on from that. That gave me a heart attack. We're too old for that, man.
That's the truth. Can't be doing that to us. So now I'm gonna kind of sit back and wait just a little bit. What an absolute head play. Oh well. Hey, listen, it was high risk, high reward. If Warden pulls off that shot, he's a hero. Instead, unfortunate, body balance now going to tip in favor of Thrive as they're in punt for their match point scenario.
Oh man, I don't know if I can recover from that. That's one of those like deaths where it just puts like a smile on your face and you're like, GG, go next. Oh, that was so good. Well, Warden dead, and that's critical to the defending setup because of the being Candelas as well as the smoke grenade investment. So now all of that utility will be able to land for free, and there's nothing that you can really do to counter it. And look at Thrive's position. Actually have decent control. Now again, it's not reading and feeding, so as soon as Thrive takes control of breeding room, that's just going to be a buffer room setup, but it's still, that's going to be a critical avenue into this attacking setup, and another casualty for Aerial Rise. I mean, Thrive looks like they're about to themselves at that point.
They really do. They're just looking like this is their match to lose. Everything they're doing is just correct, right? Even with the Amaru not going up through the window, but finding that entry kill on the run out. I mean, it's just all playing into Thrive's favor at this moment. So 5-3 left on the board. Defense only has a minute left, but they are down in the body balance, something severe. And now they, of course, still have my and Frost up on the third floor, so they're going to do a little bit more psych direct action here. Take Frost off the board, now puts us into a 4v2. Zine gets taken down in the trade. A little bit of damage done onto the ace as well, but able to find the kill. Now the plant's starting to go down in this 4v1. Going to put us in a post-plant. Oh, it was going to put us in a post-plant, and then he's able to find two off the back of the 180 pivot, and looking for another one onto the pillar area, and is going to find it. The triple kill, just about to win the round for his team. Starts to push up onto the 45 here, just holding the trigger discipline. He knows that the time is counting down, that he's going to have to make the plant to be able to become vital and viable. Starts to push up, not going to be able to do it just yet. So 10 seconds, Chief, to get it done. It's going to start playing a game of cat and mouse as they start to look for each other. That's the plan. Starting to go down. If he's able to stick it, get the flip, this could be huge. Making the play up. Plant is down. Able to find the kill. Skunky going to close it out even after the individual heroics of Brios single-handedly bringing that round back into contention.
Wow, that was far too close for comfort. A 4v2 converted into a 1v1 post-plant clutch. Technically four individual gunfights presented to Brios, and they just weren't able to win the last one. Far too close for comfort if you're a fan of Aerial Rise, and we said that was almost a guaranteed win for Thrive after finding that opening kill with the Amaru shotgun, the weirdness there, but Brios said they wanted to keep Aerial Rise in as long as possible, but again, that last critical kill was just not landed. I want to talk about the brilliance of establishing that plan. I don't know if you noticed, but Brava Skunky was starting to hunt for that kill until 8 seconds, and they about-faced and planted with about 8 seconds left on that clock. And what that does is it forces the defender Brios to either make the decision Do I challenge and take the opportunity cost of that player having the diffuser down? Or will they be gunned up and aiding me to do exactly that and play that chess game? And Brios, they ended up gambling
5 seconds
incorrectly,
left.
allowing that plan to go all the way down. But that was just a big brain play in that
Attackers
1v1
are
between
moving
those
to
two
the
players.
bomb.
An incredible gun skill for Brios to even put us in that position.
Yeah, looked like he was going to start chasing that kill, but opted for the diffuser instead. I think you're right. So now we find ourselves between a rock and a hard place. Aerial Rise has to be perfect for 4 in a row to bring this back into contention. It's only going to take 1, and they're already going to show some wild progression. Sens, Ying, Blitz, Nokobi. This is a setup that says we're coming in, you're not going to see it, and it's going to be incredibly fast. Now, they've got some slowdown capabilities on the defense, Chief, right? They adapted and brought out the Maestro and the Castle here. I think it's the right play. They're going to find the Blitz off the board early, and that's a huge pick for the defense here.
And that's my favorite way of slowing down an offense, just clicking heads. That's also a really good option, you know? Sometimes we talk about all this utility. Well, gun, go, burn. So, alright, you dealt with Blitz, that's going to be your shock and all this round, but you still got a lot of decent utility on the side of Thrive, and with no Warden in play either, all the Candelas and all those smoke grenades and are going to land through. So there's not really a lot that Aerial Alliance can do. Don't have a Jaeger either. So all that utility is going to be good as gold, and you just have to be able to isolate those defenders. And you talk about how strong Castle is. Look at this Castle position. This is brilliant. It allows you so much flexibility to be able to deny the bakery push, and Thrive is just honoring the leave the left not to open them up.
Yeah, cut off some of that back end area. That would start to ring out, so they're making a push on in. Taking some shots onto the deployable, but not them out to anything as Dokkaebi also finds her life forfeit. Skier able to take aim key down, and both 2 low healths. Ace and Sen put down into a bad position. Ying, the only full health operator left on the board, is going to be dealt with. Now puts us into a 5 as all of the defenders are still alive. Only Sen's here. It's going to be a flawless round for Aerial Arise.
That was a strong defense facilitated by the UMP ACOG on to Blitz the first kill. And then from there, Thrive tries to relocate to Bakery, and they're denied entry there. Selma is unable to drop to that second tier to be able to open up a bigger hole in the wall. That became a real sore point for Thrive. They elected just to kind of start to swing and take these gunfights, but just the defending setup of Aerial Rise, those really long angles being helped by those ACOGs, just shut down the offense that Thrive was starting
Attackers
to
need to
craft.
locate and defuse
Denied
as many
entry
bombs as they
into
can.
kitchen, but it's going to be a completely different showing now. Aerial Rise going back up the stairs to reading and feeding, and to see what Thrive has to bring to the table, and it looks like it's going to be a lot more of a traditional attack lineup. Light
Attackers have
change
discovered
to
the
the
location
floors.
of a bomb.
As the last showing of this bomb site, Aerial Rise was able just to shut everything down from Thrive. They were unable to participate in that utility simulator, and that Flores drone is really going to help.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit of the standard coming out here from Aerial Rise.
10 seconds
Of
left.
course, have a huge third floor presence. Last time we saw this, I think we only had 1 member actually down, sitting inside for the duration of the round. I imagine we're going to see something pretty similar here, as it just works so well, right? Just the huge time eater of the Castle and Mirror combos. Now, they did have an adaptation on the side of the attack. Thrive is going to bring out Twitch. Now, whether they're going to be able to get a Twitch drone in to get those mirrors open or not, that, of course, is yet to be seen.
Strong roam presence downstairs. Thrive's actually clearing that out right now, so there's going to be a battleground on that middle floor. Only 1 nitro cell, so not a full because do nitro cell damage, but a nitro cell still could have big impact. That's going to be on the mirror, though, most likely playing their own mirror window upstairs. You're not going to be able to land it through the floor, but you can also break that back forward or just isolate somebody in Canada to find the target. And the good change I also like is going to investment into Habana. Deal with those windows at range, and Snake finds the opening kill, and I think that could have been enough. So that's what they tried to do in one of the previous rounds, shut down by the Amaru shotgun, but this time they're good as golden.
Yep, and so drop down that red hatch, looking to see somebody rotating up, listening for it as the body balance is tipped in favor of Aerial Arise here. Still just able to hold on incredibly strong here. Now, they do have Habana who's trying to get that mirror opened up yet again, the second attempt to do so. Put a drone in to make sure that they're able to suss out this player inside of the bathroom, but they've made their way up. Ash going to try to come in through the back side of it. They're watching for this on the white stair. Oh, but unfortunately, they're going to let it slip by. Aimkey able to find Epic off the board, and that's going to equalize us here on the man cam.
Yeah, you just don't expect an crouch walk into your setup pull out stairs. Mistake was made there, but now equal. An awkward gunfight by the white stairs, and it's going to be a pretty easy death on the Skunky. And now you've lost your Brava, and another player falls for Thrive. What has this round turned into? Thrive. The hold upstairs is working out brilliantly. You've now found the Ash, and it's a 1v4. We've seen it near clutch, but that was on the defending side. Let's see if that can happen here.
Yeah, but it's a real tough position to put yourself in, a big hill to climb up here for the end of it, and the problem, you've only got 40 seconds in which to do so. So still got some of that gadgetry, that extension util setup in place, and that is going to stymie any attempt here to really facilitate any sort of plant. Now, he does have the diffuser in hand, so potentially he can get into that site and go for it. He is going to find the kill onto the deployable, but the long angle just going to prove to be too much as Moses gets his head ripped right off.
That was just a round where Thrive lost the trade game. They weren't really able to establish a strong foothold on that top extension when they're taking control of piano. They died to an aggressive run out by a snake. I mean, it seemed like Thrive was just kind of running through the motions. They weren't really establishing this game plan. They were just doing it to do it, and they just never put themselves in the right position. I think that's why they're bringing out this timeout, because they need to do something different. We never really saw them play together as a team, so this is an opportunity for them to kind of just break and change the pacing of these rounds.
That's right. Slow down some of that momentum. And here is going to be Brios, right? If you're Thrive, that's got to be step one, is take Brios off the board. He is having an absolutely phenomenal game, 13-7. Just kind of playing with the players as he mounts a comeback. He said they had to be perfect for 4, Chief. They've done 2 in a row and are looking pretty solid on their attempt for the 3rd.
Can I just nod my hat with Thrive taking a timeout? I think this is a really underutilized tool a lot of amateur teams just don't use. And sometimes you guys basically just bash your forehead against the wall, right? You guys never really take the opportunity to slow things down. And in a timeout, you don't even need to talk strategy. Sometimes you can just sit there in silence and just break the momentum and just calm your nerves or just calm the frustration. And something a lot of amateur teams just don't use. You don't have to create this crazy strategy. You just sometimes just need to refocus and refocus.
Yeah, man, I imagine the comms during that timeout was very Fabian-esque, right? Yeah. You're losing your ones. Knock it off. Hold your areas. Get the buddy system in place for this refresh. I love it. So 2 more for Aerial Arise, and they bring it back into contention outside of regulation. To do so, we're going to see the Valkyrie back on the board, and I think that's a good call. It's hit that intel, be able to swing with confidence, knowing exactly where the enemy is. The adaptation here, Cade and Tuberal, will be really doing a job of trying to slow him down.
So, what does Thrive bring to the table? What are they able to adapt? How can they start to change things? You don't really see a big investment into removing the floorboard over. No flat place breaching charge, no buck, no sledge, no ram. So, this to me, well, again, it's a so you don't really need that utility, but great to be able to break the setup. You have the Brava. That's good to counter the Valkyrie, but no IQ. You're not really going to know where those cameras are unless you actually see it. And that's unfortunate. Weird clipping of the drone. They should be able to pick that up and be able to send it back. But again, all about time wasting, and even small things like that translate into
That's absolutely true. Okay, so here we go. 2 minutes, the first minute gone as the drones start to do what they do best, suss out where these defenders are hiding at. Still do have the Valkyrie holding down on the red stairs, so I'm sure that she's been sussed out a little bit, but if not, please, of course, play when they make the drop in. Gonna see some drones taking a peek towards Pixel, towards that bathroom area, where of course we have the Trooper out lying in wait, a predator, to be able to start to put some pressure on that piano area, which they have just taken. 2 members already in. Thatcher again. Oh, and Ash, who's able to find the kill off the back of some distraction blade, does get answered. Kira's able to find Candle, but Twitch taking Kira off the board, aim key on Inrio, and all of a sudden, a 4v2, a 4v1 as they go down. Now it's all going to be on the aforementioned Valkyrie Shoulder, who sits down below, going to try for maybe a C4 play, but they have got her number.
That was a wild series there. It could get wilder as they clutch the 1v4. Nice put it down in the reading room. Good for one. The second one spotted as well. Oh, Snake finds that. Snake's a very clutch player. Somebody who's very capable of finding a 1v4 victory. With 24 seconds left. Remember, it's a 7.5 second defuse as well, so that clock is really running out quick, and Thrive is doing their homework. They're very far away. They're playing separate, and they're going to be wasting time. It was a pipe dream for Snake, unable to clutch that 1v4, and that's Thrive taking it in decisive action.
Yeah, absolutely huge. You know, it's kind of been a standard for the last couple of competitive matches that we watched. Thrive just having an incredible run through the last couple of tournaments. Aerial Arise, a little bit on the back foot after losing several very important games. Lose this one as well. That's tough. 7-4.
And Aerial Rise looked good. They were bringing a lot of unique adaptations. Whenever they would stumble on their attack, they would regroup and redefine what their attack looked like. And honestly, Thrive did as well, and Thrive simply did it better. And when things didn't work for Thrive, they would say, you know what, Ash? Go in, get kills, crouch walk up the hallway, and just slam. And it was just one of those moments where Thrive, particularly on their attack, was able to spot the holes in the defending lineup and just able to exploit them.
Yep, and did it phenomenally. Needed to be perfect for 4, found 2, but that is where the train stops. 7-4 for Thrive as Aerial Rise gets taken down. What a game.
Just such brilliant. Both the series that we've seen so far, the SSG Academy and the Outlast game, I mean, strong performances between both of the rosters. But it was Thrive again in this series. They just look better. And I think when we come to later ports of the XGS Season 7 season, it's going to be moments that Thrive brought today that's going to be critical to their overall success. Adaptability, the ability to go and just win gunfights when things don't go your way. And I think that's a hallmark of a really strong team and a roster that we can see continue to grow and adapt throughout XGS.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the consistency. They played together for a long time, so the comms are on point, the trust in your teammates, and they walk away with the dub. That's the first 2 done today.
And here's our favorite parts of the round, the series. I loved that swing there. It just didn't work out well for Snake, but you know what? That just leaves a smile on your face. And this near 1v4 clutch was so close to being successful, but that smart little play to plant early and just kind of do that bait and switch was just so brilliant.
Yeah. Well, unfortunate for me and you, our casting for the evening is done, but we still have 3 more games coming at you, some big ones. Any expectations tonight, Chief, for the rest of the way it's going to go?
You see who's playing. He put me on the spot there. Let me see who's up. That Makers and Next series is going to be incredible. Honestly, you got to stay around for the next 3 best of ones. They're some heavy hitters, and you know what? We've seen some juggernauts fall. Aerial Rise fell in that series, and SSG Academy nearly choked in that first series. So if you see some big names that you recognize, they're going against some team that you haven't heard of, some players you haven't heard of. Giants do crumble and they do stumble. So we've seen that across our 2 series. So make sure that you tune into this next best of ones. But our stats, we don't have them right now, so we're gonna bow out. But again, ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned to the stream because more best of 1 action taking place.
Oh.